Hello and welcome to MotoGP Mac, where MotoGP fans come to congregate and fanboys free to tread. Hey, what a weekend, pal! I
It was
called it.
epic. It
Called
was
it.
epic.
The shirt did it. Took it over. Marquez.
Yeah. Listen, it
The
was that
skill.
much. It was that much away from being a fuck up.
What's this? What was your sex life?
Huh? No, that was Marquez's contact patch at the start of the race. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. So yeah, it was absolutely an epic weekend. Epic. I think in the sprint race we were denied seeing Marquez and Martin going at it. But in the main race, Martin and Mark, Mark was just outstanding. Now, like, to be honest, how he like, first of all, it was 13th. He went down to, I thought it was 11th, but that was quick maths at 4 o'clock in the morning, trying to count riders on a mobile phone. That I thought that he was in 11th, but um, you know, the tear off incident was just fucking unreal. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they could all
What's the
see it. Like,
chances of that happen? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. But then saying that, right, you're kind of like, if you do think about it, right, the wind always comes up and across on that straight. Do you know what I mean? So because it comes off the coast, it comes up and channels up that straight. Like, so 9 times out of 10, you're going into a headwind in that race. Do you know what I mean? So when he took it off and he pushed it.
And how many times have you dropped a nut or bolt? Okay, working on your bike and it falls right underneath the tire. I
Yeah,
don't know if you ever
yeah.
had. I've had it happen a dozen times. Where is it? God damn, I can't find it. But watch, it's underneath the tire. Damn if it ain't. You know.
But like, his pace was absolutely unbelievable there. Like, do you know what I mean? I must say, coming back from 13th and riding through the field. Now, saying that, again, he was in 13th for one corner. Do you know what I mean? The next corner, he was back towards the top six. So I think a lot of people fell out of his way as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it would have been very different if he got caught behind those people for a
Yes.
lap or two. Do you know what I mean? But he was absolutely brilliant. My view, he did Pecco a massive favor by taking on Martin, because I was doing the maths as it was Martin 1, Mark 2, and Pecco 3, and I was like, okay, so that's 25 points, and realistically, if Martin finishes second or finished second in every race, he'd win the championship by a
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
So, like, going past Martin brought that down to 20. So it's given Pecco a little bit of a lifeline. But, Martin was on Saturday was brilliant. Like, I think Mark would have had a good bit of trouble with him. Like, he seemed definitely on the sprint that he had a lot more that he could have pushed on. Do you know what I mean? Whereas on Saturday, or on Sunday, you could see Martin was very, very, very scared of the tire. Do you know what I mean? And when he came to battling with Mark, he was like, fuck this. I'm not actually going to, I'll give it a go.
Yeah.
But if he comes back at me again, I'm just
You
going
can
to,
see the moment he went, nope, that's it. I'm done.
yeah, yeah,
I'm taking the 20.
yeah. And now look, it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Great,
Smart.
good bit of maturity shown from
He didn't
Martin.
like it.
No, of course, no fucking racer likes to do it. Like, do you know what I mean? But I thought, yeah, fair play to him. It was good. It was good to see him taking the points. Like, we go to Thailand next weekend now as well, and if you remember, there was a great battle between himself, Pecco, and Binder, I think, last year. So I think it could be good. But like, saying that, Mark did a great race, but I think this is like an Aragon thing again. Do you know what I mean? It's just
Right.
the corner suit him, man. I was looking at it when he was closing in on Martin. I know Martin made a mistake, but Mark was kind of going between 3/10 and 5/10 of a second behind Martin. But you would watch him through the last corner, and you'd see he'd gain 2/10 of a second,
Mhm.
right? And going through turn 1, that would stretch slightly again, and it'd be back out to 2 or 3 tenths a second. But then coming through Stoners, Mark will close that gap back up again. So,
Yes.
so if you do look at it in two fairly decent attacking points, because like the last corner gives you a good slingshot out into turn 1,
right,
and Stoners gives you a great slingshot into MG or Millers, whichever way you want to call it. So he was fast in the right spaces, but like if you saw him then out of Siberia and up through the hay shed, he wasn't as strong on the right hand side of the bike where Martin was stronger. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of ebbing and flowing on the gap, right? So, and you could see Martin, all right, made a couple of slight mistakes. And like when I talk slight mistakes, like he went like half a meter offline. You know?
Yeah, he didn't make very many, and yeah. It's hard for me to call that a mistake. I think he was pushing so hard that he's riding the edge. You know.
Well, it is, but like it's a mistake because he's not where he's supposed to be. Do you know what I mean, or where he wants to be? So, and like that's not being critical. Like like a big fuck up is when you hit the deck. You know.
Yeah. Or you pull in when it's raining, when it's gone dry.
Yeah. That's kind of a mistake. But it's like, but again, I thought, you know, the battle between the two of them, I thought it was really, really good. It was clean enough. You know.
What's your opinion on something though? Didn't it seem like if you compared Pecco to Marquez, like when they came on, when they went to come onto the main straight, okay, it seemed like Pecco had more power on Marquez. He could just pull up on Marquez just couldn't catch him on the straight, even though he had a better drive coming onto the main straight than the same situation when Marquez wanted to do it with Martin. Pecco's bike seemed to be stronger.
Well, like
it wasn't coming off the head, it didn't have a good drive as either one of them coming onto the main straight.
But like as every good woman knows, that extra inch makes a difference. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, so the rear. Okay, there is something within the electronics, but the rear ride height device on the 24, it flex. I think it's about another half inch or an inch more. So the back of the bike sits down much more than things. So that's why that inch will make a difference. So when they're engaging the rear ride height, even though they're not carrying the same amount of speed through the corner, when the bike squats down, it's completely down. Do you know what I mean? So it's like it's a drag bike, and a little bit more compared to.
The Pecco's bike seemed faster than Martin's bike.
It wasn't faster than Martin. Martin was much faster. Much faster.
Off that,
but Pecco was.
Comparing the three, it seemed like he had a much easier time. Marquez had an easier time sticking with Martin on the main straight than he did with Pecco. Pecco for the longest time, Marquez would pull up beside him, and then he would gain up some steam and just keep going, and he couldn't catch him.
Yeah, I think with Martin was riding much tighter. Do you know what I mean? And you could see.
No, he definitely was marching tighter off that corner. But
like I think he was riding because he knew a Marquez bomb was on the way, right? So I think he was just like trying to make sure and trying to override through the corners where he knew Mark was faster, right? Which was causing him to come out of there. And he didn't have as much acceleration because his line was different. If you looked at Mark,
defending, you're saying what he did,
but he was what he was trying to do is protect the edge grip of the tire, and you could see him even in the slower corners as well. You could see he went back to V sort of method, whereas Mark was smooth through the corners. Now saying that, look. There's a lot of sayings already out there that Mark is going to wipe the floor with everyone on next year on the GP25, and there was a couple of things like that I saw. Like one, this is like Sachsenring, this is like Aragon, like even I won't say Misano, but like Mark did win in Misano, but like if there was a couple of tracks that I would bet on Mark performing really well, those would be the three of Sachsenring, Aragon, and Phillip Island. Do you know what I mean? Especially because they're long, fast corners where you carry speed on the left. And I can argue that point with anyone any day. On the GP25, I think he will do well. Not sure will he wipe the floor with someone, right? Because I haven't seen anyone make the 2-year bike jump and be very successful in their first year of it. So, like, if you look at Ine Bastianini, he went from the 21 to the 23. Do you know what I mean? And he struggled quite a lot. Do you know what I mean? So, and you look at Luca Marini, he went from the 21 to the 23, I think it was. So he struggled. There's people struggling a lot with that 2-bike jump. And like, if you can imagine where the 23 bike, and if you look at what happened to Morbidelli, Bezzecchi, and the rest of them, even Alex Marquez, you look at the transition between the 22 and the 23, right? They found it hard, right? And if Mark is used to the 23 and he goes to the 25, which is more like the 20, which will be more like the 22 handling sort of thing, it's going to be a complete change of corner entry, how the bike feels, looks. So, I think, like, again, I'm not being pessimistic. I'm trying to be realistic here and, like, not let everyone carry on and go, when he signed for Ducati, everyone said, "Oh, that's it, championship over," including Cal Crutchlow. Joe, Mark on a Ducati, forget about it. It doesn't matter whether it's a year old or not. And while he's getting used to the Ducati, there's a 2 jump coming up now that I'm not sure is that going to be ready, or is that going to be plain sailing for Mark, as people think. So I just want people to put in a little asterisk there. Do you know what I mean? When Mark goes to the 25, he's going to have to relearn a bike that is of a completely different setup to the bike that he's currently riding. Do you know what I mean? The way you turn the bike in, the feel off from the front end.
People are crazy. I mean, when they said it was Yamaha was going to have a V4, people were saying, "Oh, it's a done deal." As soon as they get the V4 is going to come out on the track and wipe everything off the oblivion. So
yeah, I don't know. I think, look, I just want people to be real and look, at the end of the day, there's one thing you can always guarantee with Mark is that he'll try his absolute best. Always. And
yeah, I'm just happy to see that he transferred. He transferred to a real biased tire. That was the biggest thing that I was.
But but you see, I think this is where the problem could come from for him with the. I think, and this is why I think that he's doing a little bit better than the other 23s. Is Mark, while it is a rear based bike, Mark is very much on the front end of it, very much, and you can see it, right? And like, let's be fair,
that's more than most, put it that way.
Yeah, more than most, and like, he's just like with the flywheel, for instance, he's just riding through the initial vibration or push. Do you know what I mean? And he's maybe accounting for that it's going to push. Do you know what I mean? And that's fine. And Mark doesn't mind a bike that's leery. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't mind a bike moving around, whereas the others would be a lot more sensitive. Like the jump for the jump for Digi Antonio and Marc Marquez next year are going to be the same. They're going to do a 2 jump Ducati. Now, I think Digi, having ridden the 22, will have a little bit of a reference, where Mark is going to have no reference, because and I just think it's just something that people need to be aware of, is that the GP23's front end to the GP24's is vastly different. And like, you listen to the riders, and where I'm saying and why I'm saying this, right, is that Bezzecchi, Alex Marquez, Digi Antonio all came out and said to ride the GP22 fast is the complete opposite to the to ride the GP23 fast is the complete opposite to the GP22. Pecco said about the GP24 is that they've gone back to the GP22 style feelings, right? So that tells me that the GP25 is going to be more improving the
Right.
GP24
Evolution, not revolution.
evolution of that kind of type bike, right? Of the 22 type feel. So for me, when I'm looking at it, just as being a very, very real person, is that okay? It will handle better, but is that going to play into Marc Marquez's hands? That you have too much, not too much feeling, but you have too much feeling from the bike. So if he tries to push the bike and try and ride her and enter into the corner, is it going to be completely different? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But my gut feeling is that the 21 was different to the 22. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it was an evolution, and then the 23 was a complete different bike from the 22. Do you know what I mean? And that's the bike they're now on. So I think it'll be interesting to see what way that works out. Pecco, he just didn't have it. Just didn't have it this weekend. I thought on Friday, I was like,
His attitude though, it seems to be more and more like, okay, the title is Martin's to lose.
I think coming into this race, I still think he was up for it. I think he genuinely was up for it on Friday, and then he had like a dud Saturday morning, and Saturday morning wasn't great. I've heard now, I've seen a thing, and like he's ruining the Alex Marquez incident. And when, in my views, a rider in the middle of a championship battle starts talking about points lost during that season because of another rider incident, they're not half beaten, but they're starting the excuse train to be beaten.
Yeah.
But saying that, look, there's still some, like with 37 points, there's 20 points in it now, 37 points per race weekend. One crash and it's over. Like, so, like, realistically, the only time you can say, that someone has an advantage is if someone is 38 points clear and there's only 37 points on the table.
Exactly.
That's and like, if anything has taught us over this season, it's a championship of mistakes. Do you know what I mean? They're all pushing.
It seems to have affected his speed, his raw speed. It seems.
I think he's lost feeling, and I think there's two things going on. I think he's lost some feeling, and I think what he tried in Misano is stuck in his head, and he's like, "Give me the bike from Misano. Give me the bike from Misano. The test." That is far better. I like this. I don't like the other one. Do you know what I mean? Now, Ducati have come out and said that both bikes will be the same. I believe that's contracted, but I'm not 100% sure. I've heard that it was contracted that they have to have the same equipment. Now, saying that, if Martin was staying in Ducati, yeah, it would be contract, but it's a massive, massive risk if they were to do it. Like, if Martin was staying
about before, or they're actually the same, because it seems like Marquez had a hell of a time. You could definitely see the difference in power between Pecco's bike and Marquez's bike, more so than you saw between
But that was like the angle of the dangle, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, Pecco was on the edge of the tire rolling through those corners, whereas Martin was a little bit wider on the apex in the middle of those corners.
If that's the case, it affected him all the way down the straight. You could see
but it did, because like he was coming out and he was trying to get the bike, not say on the right edge of the tire, just kind of like maybe an inch off of the edge of the tire to save that edge group. Whereas Pecco and Marc were right over on the edge of the tire, rolling through that. And of course, then, while Marc was able to gain through the corners, and Pecco, especially the last corner and Stoners, the acceleration then that he had, and also the extra inch in the ride height or so, helped him down the chute. Do you know what I mean? But it didn't help Martin, because Martin was trying to go a little bit of a V corner. Saying that, look, I still can't see that the championship is over yet. I think if he's 20 points with 2 races to go, I think that's a good, nice, healthy lead. Do you know what I mean? Or it's like
How many races you got left?
We have 3 weekends, so 6.
6. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was 3 weekends. Right.
Yeah. So is it 3 weekends? Yeah, I think 3 weekends. So 3 weekends now left. So look,
What's the last? Are we still doing Valencia last?
Valencia last, and then sure the Tuesday then is the Valencia test.
Everybody wants that changed out, and it never seems to come to fruition.
I think Valencia though is a good track to have last. You know, now saying that, look, they could do Malaysia. I think Malaysia is probably a better one in the fact that they always go to Malaysia testing, so it gives them a good back-to-back test. If you get me, excuse me. Yeah. So it's like, you know, Joe. I mean, if the last race is on in Malaysia, and then the Tuesday you did the first 2025 test, and then in January or February you did the next 2025 test. You're at the same track. You do kind of have a bit of a correlation. But anyway, look, we'll wait and see what happens. Yeah, I think the Bezzecchi Maverick incident was a pretty scary incident.
They got it right. One thing
he did break though.
The more aero you have, the guy aero makes the guy behind you have less turbulence, not more turbulence. That's the way it works.
No, not always. No. It less turbulence only if you reconnect that air. But they don't. They don't reconnect the air. What happened, in my view, and I could see, I watched it in slow motion after.
We had that. We go over that.
Yeah, but you're talking.
Said a million times. MotoGP explained. You know, Aero explained. It says the more, and it makes sense. That's why you can't pass somebody with a draft pass, because it is as easy. It's why you can't pass as easy, because you can't get that draft, because the less turbulence means less of the more turbulence you have, the more dead space you have too.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of turbulence
on gives you the ability to draft pass.
Yeah. But we've also agreed, and this guy B Sport also agreed, that they cannot connect the rear or the air off the back of the rider, and that's what causes turbulence. So the riders can still slipstream each other, and in my view, what happened with Bezzecchi, and if you go back and watch some of his laps, Bezzecchi breaks later than Maverick, right? It's a Ducati and Aprilia thing, right? Ducati doesn't carry as much speed as the Aprilia through the corner, right? So therefore, Ducati breaks later than the Aprilia. Okay, what happened with Maverick? And there was no fault in my view with anyone, right? Ducati, Maverick came along.
I didn't think there was any fault to it myself.
But you could see with Bezzecchi had load on his wings, right?
Yeah.
And then Maverick came in, and that load went. The load went from, and when he hit the brake, you could watch the rear of the tire. Where's my thing? You could see this is his front, and you could see he braked, and the rear wheel lifted the ground, so he had to let off. Otherwise, he was going straight over the handlebars. That's what happened. Go back and watch it in slow motion. You'll see his rear tire lift, and therefore you're like, he has to leave off, because even if he doesn't leave off, he's going over the front and he's going to take your man anyway. So, but a lot of that was that when Maverick came in front of him, he lost his downforce, and that was it. That as soon as you try to brake, he's probably 20 meters too late for the level of downforce that he has. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, but that's actually what happened. You could see it. You 100% see it. That he didn't.
You just hate Aero. You just hate Aero.
I don't. I actually understand Aero, and I watch a lot of Formula One, and it's the exact same. You get in behind a car in a braking zone.
Oh, the car.
But it's Jake. But Jake, it's the same thing. What's the front wings for?
The front wings are to hold the front of the car down. It's
No. On a bike, what are the front wings for? So they help the bike with anti-wheelie, and they also help the bike brake deeper into the brake zones.
Yes.
Now you put another bike in front of your bike. That front bike is now taking the full aero load of the dead air in front of you. So your air behind is not going to be connected to anything.
Well, quit. You'd have to be up the guy's ass for that.
But he was, Jake. He was within fucking a bike and a half length. Go back and watch it, and you will see. Guaranteed.
Was it that close? I looked at it. I didn't see it. Looked at from an angle. It didn't look that close. Like
it was close. It was a bike and a half, maybe like, two bikes length max. And at that stage, if you're going along and you're like, I'm going to brake in my normal space because your man's not coming past me. Oh shit! Now your man's come past me. By the time you even see, oh shit, your man's come past me, you're already too late to brake because that aero weight has gone off the front. Just have a look at it. You'll see he hit the brakes. And the bike started to pivot up. He had to release the brakes and then went straight into it.
I didn't see it.
And I could see that now on a small phone, and then I watched it on the tally after, and I was like, I don't know. I can't really see them. I couldn't see them giving him a long lap for it. But you know, I suppose they had to though. In thing, he caused the collision, and that was the end of it. Now, saying that though, you know, I think there's going to be a little bit of friction in the VR46 camp.
Yeah.
Like I can understand if he didn't have a ride-through penalty.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. You was just holding them up for God knows why. You know.
Exactly. Do you know what I mean? And like, I think that's what Pecco would be more frustrated with. Like there's racetracks out there where people are just naturally fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Pecco knew coming into this weekend it was either going to be Marquez or Martin. And he said at the start of the weekend, if it was 2 seconds, he'd happily take 2 seconds. So he knew that he wasn't going to maybe have the pace and the pace. But saying that, you know, I think Bezzecchi in the sprint race was fair enough. Do you know what I mean? But Bezzecchi in the thing, it kind of like, what was the point? You know, he could have just fallen in behind Pecco, let Pecco try and attack Martin and go. So I think there could be some serious ramifications for one of them. Well, we kind of know who.
I'm not for team orders, but in this case, you go, come on, why not? You know what I mean? It's the end of the season. It's you know.
Look, I don't mind anyone. I don't fancy team orders similar to you, but I also believe that if two rivals are going to fight,
yeah, let them at it.
Let them at it. Do you know what I mean? It's not your fucking business. Do you know what I mean? Now, look, we saw recently in the BSB there was some major controversy when it went down to the final round, and you know, yes, if your teammate is fast enough and is getting in the way to help you, I think that's normal. That's a teammate that's trying to win the championship for the team and whatnot. If you're nothing to do or no affiliation with any of those teams and you're getting in the way just to be a prick, I think that's borderline. Do you know what I mean? But look, saying that, all I want to see is two championship riders fighting it to the death,
duking it out. Right. What did you think about Aprilia this weekend and the riders?
I thought Maverick was brilliant, which is a weird thing for me to say in the way that.
Yeah, you kind of just got stood back.
Yeah, it's like Maverick blows either hot or cold, and to be fair and honest, it is mostly cold. You know, and I thought he was the best one, but the rest of them I thought were fucking shocking.
They just don't seem to have the drive. You know what I mean?
Like if I was,
it's like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? You know, if I was next year, this is almost like they're just making up time.
If I was in Honda now, I would be kind of worried about signing Alicia Swaggro.
Why is that? You just think there's no oomph left?
no motivation, no real interest in
Yeah,
racing.
it just
And that's not a criticism, right? That's just a fact. If you look at where he's had a couple of good results this year. Last couple of races, though,
yeah,
he's struggling with Raul Fernandez and when Miguel Oliveira was there,
yeah,
he shouldn't be.
yeah.
Just my opinion.
It looks like it seems like he showed up for the good catering. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Pedro Acosta showed up in a sling on Sunday morning. So he was out of the race with a shoulder injury. Now, to be fair, he did get fucking done in the sprint race. Like, that was a heavy fall. Well, sorry, it wasn't well, it was, right? It was kind of a sudden stop, heavy fall. Do you know what I mean? And you knew it was going to hurt. Like, Jack Miller and the Wildlife, it really qualifying. He hit a fucking hair or something.
Yeah.
And in sprint race, he hit his eagle.
It looked like he scoop it up where the rear tire scoop is.
Yeah. It's Joe, like when you can't catch a fucking break, Joe.
Sorry, bugs.
Yeah, and then you had Yamaha.
Hey, they said he's doing well. The thing up for Yamaha for Japanese bike, he was kicking ass.
He was, but look, he's so far still off of it. You know what I mean?
I didn't. Wouldn't you love to see Fabio on a competitive bike running up against Marquez right now? I mean,
yeah. Jake,
my other aliens.
Jake, my dream is to have 5 or 6 aliens on different fucking bikes and all going fucking hammers and tongs at us.
Yeah.
You know, that's where it was years ago. Do you know what I mean? And that's the sort of racing that you like, because, like, realistically, it's kind of getting to the stage of what Ducati is going to win this weekend. That's the question. Do you know what I mean? And while it's good that at least it's different people, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't remember having 5 or 6 manufacturers on par with one another.
Well, not in the MotoGP era, but like in other eras, there was, and like you had the four Japanese ones, and they all had a mega rider. Do you know what I mean? And like you were looking like at Suzuki, Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki. They all had someone that was top 5.
Kawasaki was always out of it. So you had 3. You really did have
3, maybe 4.
It was 2 or 3. It was usually 2 or 3.
Yeah, but
Suzuki was always down. It's surprising. Suzuki was always down on power, but could handle. Yamaha was the one like intermediate, had power and handling, and then Honda had power but couldn't handle for shit. And always every same year, it's the same scenarios kept following one another.
I don't know. I think but look, I just think where now it's just, as I said, it's which Ducati is going to win, and if it's not a Ducati winning, it's a complete shock to everyone. You know what I mean? It's like Domenicali is in the Claudio Domenicali is in the fucking boardroom Monday morning, like, well, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? So, yeah, I do think it just needs a little bit more. But look, next year that is going to change. You know what I mean? Obviously, there's going to be less Ducatis, and when you looked at the top Ducatis today, I think it was like the top 6 was all Ducati. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it was a record for shutout.
Was it?
Yeah, for having 6.
Right. Yeah.
Since MV Augusta, but MV Augusta was that were another one where totally dominated at one time.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it does need to change. You know, looking and look, while the engine size is not the ideal one, but a regulation change is due to kind of refresh the thinking for everyone. Do you know what I mean? Because like realistically, what's stopping Grassini? Just saying now in the near future, right? Like they've all this thing with Marquez, right? And obviously when he leaves next year, they probably won't win a lot. You know, from 26 on or whatever, when Alex Marquez's contract comes out, that's going to be one of the most coveted seats ever, right? In the paddock, right? You'll have a Ducati bike, you know.
Yeah.
And what we've seen in Formula One, and I'll take Lance Stroll for a thing, and you probably don't know this, but Lawrence Stroll is Lance Stroll's dad, who's funded his racing for years, and bought a Formula One team so his son could drive.
Right, yeah.
So all we're waiting for in MotoGP is this to come along, that the rider is going to pay 4 or 5 million, maybe 10 million a year, maybe 20 million. Like 20 million to a dad that puts in 4 billion or 5 billion into his son's racing career is not a lot of money. You know, and there's people around there with that sort of money that they would just, yeah, okay. You know, if you want to go be a MotoGP rider, there you go. So, you know, if you look at it,
did he put that much into it? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, like he bought Aston Martin, I think, for a couple of 100 million, and they built this massive headquarters. You know, and like the amount of money and personnel, like this guy is the guy that bought Adrian Newey for 4 years or 5 years, paying him 100 million alone for those 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and wasn't he about to go bankrupt? I don't know how they pulled that one out of the bag.
No, he bought it. He bought it when I was about to go bankrupt. He bought Racing Point, which was the old team, and he bought into it. But like that's what you have. Like, and you have your man Mazepin from Russia, who used to race in the Haas team. His dad bankrolled all that 50, 60, 100 million. So that type of money is out there if people, and that's where I suppose my fear of this whole Liberty Media, you know, thing is going to be is like you're going to have some dipshit in the States, right, who might be handy in a national series, and then you have a team, just say like Grassini, who might need sponsorship dollars from riders to function. And someone's going to come along and say, well, look, you give my son a ride, he'll do Moto 2 this year and then MotoGP next year. Here's 25 million.
Right.
What are you going to do?
In a Formula One race, that's a bargain.
That's bargain, exactly. But that's my point. You know what I mean? And I just don't want the series to turn into that.
What you say? Even as an advertising percentage, the MotoGP is a bargain versus Formula One. Like how many eyes, how much it costs versus how many eyes is watching.
For now, yeah. For now, like everything is going to go up sponsorship wise, and Liberty Media. You can say what you want to say about them, but what they've done in growing Formula One in the States is, and globally, I suppose, is unbelievable for the sport. Do you know what I mean? Sponsorship dollars have gone up. How much it costs to get on a car now? Like years ago, you would nearly get, you definitely get the rear wing and the front wing for like 5 or 6 million. Now you're probably talking 20 or 30 million just for the side of the rear wing. You know what I mean? It's just fucking outrageous, and that's where we need to be careful. Oh, sorry, that's where things need to be careful with MotoGP, because what is going to happen is that, and like we've talked about this in thing about going to Kota, right? Like the price of a ticket this year to 5 years' time is going to be, there's going to be a massive difference. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And you know, the show is going to be the show. Like it is going to be a complete show. You go to a F1 event now, so F1 is on in Kota, right? There's concerts, everything inside in the bowl after the racing, all of this stuff, and so it's actually like a weekend festival, rather than just going to a race and fucking off after. Do you know what I mean? So a couple of like there is a couple of good things about it. There's a couple of poor things about it. You know, I'm really intrigued to see the new logo. Because I think that's going to change the identity of Dorna. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it kind of changes them out, and then that's the real change is going to come in then, and see it. And look, Liberty, and I suppose it is right? And if you look at the way
I
it's
think
set
how
up,
much that'll change the identity of how good it looks too. Believe it or not.
yeah.
If it's eye catching or not, it's very critical.
Oh, it is. And like, if you look at the Formula One logo from the old one to the new one, you know, it's vastly different. Do you know what I mean? But I suppose, look, again, it's one of these things. Look, they're trying to put their own stamp on it now. Old man Dorna, I think he's probably into his last season or two at the helm of it. You know, next thing you'll see now after the new logo is the person that's coming in to learn from old man Dorna. You know what I mean? And
this is how you steal, boy. It's how you take a bribe. Just how you do.
That's it, yeah.
God.
So I think, yeah.
We didn't talk about. We have to talk about something. What? Look at the monumental World Superbike. BMW wins the Superbike title. World Superbike first time.
There was a great saying on there the other day of how many millions have BMW put into that project.
Yep, they didn't do it cheap. I can tell you.
All right.
They did everything themselves. It's insane.
Yeah. But the real answer was higher top rack for maybe.
What was the most effective?
Yeah, but like, how much is Top Rack getting paid? How much they invested?
Yeah,
it's probably the best investment the company have made.
You know, there's a Honda executive going, buy him.
Yeah, buy him. Yeah. So look, it's epic. His celebration was very funny as well yesterday. I was looking at it, so like, what the fuck is going on here? But you know, hats off as well to Buliga. You know, I know there was an awful lot of whinging from Bautista about the penalties and whatever, but Buliga just got on with the fucking thing. Do you know what I mean? Just rode it, whatever, and he took him all the way to it. Like, and that's fair play to him.
Rookie.
Huh?
He's a freaking rookie.
Yeah, but he's Buliga's ex VR46 Academy. Buliga was sacked from the Moto 2 team. So look, there is really, really good potential in Buliga. There was talk about him or Ian One actually filling in for Fabio Di Gianantonio when he goes for surgery, which I think it'd be a good thing to see Buliga on it. Do you know what I mean? Because it's a bit of two fingers to VR46. Do you know what I mean? Because they did
put your toe in the pond.
Yeah, like, he's still young enough, do you know what I mean, to get back into that paddock. That's my view. He's not even 25, 26, I would think.
Really? Yeah. He looks like he's been left outside if he's 25, 26.
Well, look.
It's rough.
Yeah, well, that's the way she likes it, you know. But
he looks like a drinking man.
Huh?
He looks like a drinking man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's just see what age he is, actually. No, it's interesting. Dear old Wikipedia. He was born in October 1999, so he's in his 20s.
Yeah, Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, so he's just, 26?
Yeah.
25? I know. So he's young, like he has loads of time still. Do you know what I mean? And like, win the world championship, and why would you win or a second or another second place to Top Rack next season, right? Why would Grassini not look at him?
Yeah.
I don't think VR46 could welcome him back in. I think that would be too much of a egg in their face. Do you know what I mean? So,
Right.
but why would look? Alex Marquez is a really good rider. I'm just not sure in 2 years' time or whatever it is, will he still be there? Do you know what I mean? Like, I genuinely believe that they how do I put this? That they signed him because he was Marc Marquez's brother, and that would bring publicity. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And then they just happened to get Marc Marquez out of the deal as well. Do you know what I mean? A year later. Whereas if Marc is in the factory Ducati team, do you know what I mean? Marc doesn't give. Do you know what I mean? They're never going to get Marc back. Never, ever going to get it.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Marc will retire before losing a factory ride again. Do you know what I mean? So,
and look at all the hubbub that went on when he won that race. I mean, as soon as he won that race and people are freaking out and they're running through this down to the stands, didn't it? It showed why they had to sign Marquez
to Ducati.
Yeah. That's why Ducati
one of the things with Phillip Island and right is that the fans do come onto the track very quickly after the race finishes. They do. Okay. That's completely normal. Like you have to. Phillip Island is one of those very weird race tracks where it's actually very easy to get onto the track. Joe, normally you go to a racetrack, there's all these.
They were like real sticklers at Phillip Island about rules, regulations, and
they are. But if you look at where the fans sit, normally the catch fencing would be 12, 13, 14 feet high. It's fucking 4 or 5 feet high. Do you know what I mean? But it's up on an embankment, and it's.
I know for giving a ticket for the giving you a ticket. They have cops there to give you a ticket for anything.
Yeah, but you see, you look at Phillip Island racetrack. It can only hold about 35,000, 40,000 people. That's all.
It's not that big. No,
it's not big at all, right? So when you look at the areas so if you look at the turn 2, right, and now it's on the coast, right, so you'd be fucking like an ice cube if you actually sat down there, right? But the fencing out there, there's a tire wall. Behind the tire wall is actually an earth bank, and then about 2 meters back from that, there's a chain link fence which anyone can just stand behind, and they can it's actually like an old football ground or a club football ground where you lean on the side of the fence and watch the race. That's kind of the mentality. Now there is some areas where there may be a threat that the bike would actually get to the edge of the gravel, where there would be some higher, or it's a restricted area. But for the most part, it's actually quite a relaxed area. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's a different type. Like the Aussie fans are fucking unbelievable as well. Like, do you know what I mean? They get fucking really into it. Do you know what I mean?
It's contrasting when they say, "Oh, they have a lot of rules," and you're going, "Well," and you have their Aussie fans. I can't see Australians following rules. They're not that kind of a people.
Yeah, but none of them are such dickheads like to want to run out onto the track and fucking disturb the race. Do you know what I mean? They're all there to watch a great race, and so it's it's actually one of the ones I'd really love to attend, but it's just so fucking far away. Like it's what 27 hours travel alone just to get there. Like, you know, I have enough fucking problems now with like 3 or 4 hours on a plane. I'd be like, I need to do something.
Now with Top Rack winning the title, doesn't that put pressure on BMW to get in the World Series?
I think that's already a done deal.
You think so?
I think so.
That they swore that they how many years have they swore we're going to win World Superbike and we're going to go into MotoGP?
Yeah, but I think they've known already for the last 2 or 3 months that they're going to win this year. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also think the correlation of
they dumbed the bike down. They dumbed the bike down so much in 2027. Like everybody's got to be competitive. You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Like if there's ever a time to enter, it's 2027. Right. So
my Chinese scooter can be on grid. You know what I mean?
I think about running the R6 to be fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't go wrong. No,
Yeah.
but what I mean is like, I think in the boardroom they've decided but not announced. Do you know what I mean? And I think, like, if you remember, there was a message from Espeleta Jr. That there are now no spaces left for factory teams to come in. Do you know what I mean? You have to buy a team. What I think that actually was a message to BMW saying the price has gone up.
Really? I thought, but didn't they always have that caveat in there that if it was open for a manufacturer?
It was, yeah, and then he closed that off.
I don't
Not
remember. I
not
don't
not
remember closing it off.
that
Okay.
was about 6 months ago, I think, or maybe 4 months ago or 5 months ago. It wasn't Espeleta Senior; it was Espeleta Junior. Said it, you know, if someone wants now to come in, there's no more slots available. We're happy with the 22 or 20 slots or whatever. Because remember, as well, they're tied to how many bikes by regulation that they can have on the track. So let's just say if they go back out to whatever it is, 22 or 24.
And mark my words, CF Moto is going to start coming into racing.
I don't know. I think their CF Moto at the moment was that the Chinese crowd.
Yep.
And didn't they raise the issue with Grassini about in Japan about one of the riders where
Or
Japanese
this specific, but it was weird. It was this.
No, look, I think
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was blown a bit out of proportion, but
yeah, it was. Yeah.
Look, I get it if it is disrespectful, but like also you can't show
It was disrespectful in 1842. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was Dorna gave them the headset to wear. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I don't think anybody even probably knew that it was. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but look, they were looking for that rider to be fired, and the Grassini, to be fair, said no, and they took off their sponsorship. So I would be very surprised to see CF Moto invest more in MotoGP, because it was MotoGP that actually caused the issue. If they're really on their fucking high horse about it.
I think that'll just float. I think they just put that out there to piss in the wind. I think they had to. You know what I mean? I think they had to because of what it was. You know what I mean?
Maybe so. But anyway, look, I think BMW are kind of resolved in the fact that they need to enter MotoGP now. But then the other side of it, and someone said this to me recently, is like, you know, what you always say about winning the championship. You know, you win the first championship, great, that was a fluke. Do you know what I mean? Good bike, no real challengers. Win it again, and then you're into a whole different kind of piss. But for me, when
yeah, but in this way, in this case, it doubles. It doubles because this way they can also keep Top Rack from going anywhere, because Top Rack wants to go into MotoGP.
It does, but my point here is more so, like what I've always said, like, to win a second world title legitimizes you as a world champion, right?
Right.
And it's same for manufacturers, right? You know, anyone can have like a good season and win around them. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think BMW could wait, like with the 2027 regulations, right? They go and win the 2025. 1 year of development of a MotoGP prototype bike is not enough. Do you know what I mean? So they need to be starting now, around now, which is why I said I think they've already resolved the decision that they're going to be in MotoGP, just haven't announced it. Like, I think those, you know, they could have a letter of intent with Dorna to enter, but they don't want to announce it till mid 2025. Do you know what I mean?
I'm really curious if they do what they said they were going to do. Years ago, when they first came in, they said, we're going to win the World Superbike, and then we're going to go right to MotoGP. And then, this is when everybody was fresh, right? And what we're going to do is we're going to totally sublet that out. We're just going to put a sticker on the bike. We're going to go to an F1 team, one of these F1 engineering houses, have them totally build a bike, then we're going to put a sticker on it, like the Mercedes does. Well,
The Mercedes?
I think they said Mercedes. Somebody, maybe I was wrong with Mercedes, but
Yeah, you're right. Actually, it was Ilmore used to build the engines for Mercedes.
yeah, and we'll see if they stay that route.
Yeah,
I would think that this new we was talking about that new facility being built. They'd be trying to give away, well, not give away, but they'd be selling tech at a discount because the place is supposed to be the biggest.
I don't think. Look, I don't think
biggest house in the world, the biggest engineering facility in the world.
I think there's a couple of things there, Jake. I think one, either when they made that was a good 10 years ago when they made that, right? Costs have increased exponentially on this now, right? The whole aero race and all of this stuff. So I think when it was just a thing of build a chassis, build an engine, get a standard set of suspension like Olin's or whatnot. Yeah. But I think nowadays there's the cost. There's also the potential marketing power now. Like they couldn't. So BMW going into this, they would have to be in the top 3. If they're at top 5 or 5th or 6th in the manufacturers, that is a brand embarrassment then. Do you know what I mean? So if they're going to go into MotoGP after winning the World Superbikes, they've now put themselves on a plateau of, okay, we've won this. Now, saying that, they didn't win the team's championship. They won the World Championship with the rider. So they didn't win the manufacturers, right? Which is probably bigger for them than the riders.
Yeah, I was thinking that too when I saw that.
So look, I think you're right. I think they would sublet some of it, but I think they'd want to retain control. The problem is with those is that technically the bikes are built by BMW, but the team is run by a private company. I'm not sure if you know that.
No, Alpha is it
No.
Alpha? Is that?
I think it's Sean Muir, isn't it?
The name sounds really familiar. Yeah,
I think it's Sean Muir.
I've heard that name 100 times, but I don't know what his position is.
Sean Muir BMW. I think it's one of Sean Muir Racing. Yeah, Sean Muir. He basically now is it his own? Yeah, it is Sean Muir Racing. Is who actually runs the BMW team. So technically, what they're doing is obviously look, the BMW bikes are built by BMW, so the engine is a BMW engine, chassis, and all of this development. And then they have a team, and like Aprilia used to do this with Grassini, so it's not something new. But if you look at all of the MotoGP projects, they all went back in-house. Do you know what I mean? To have in-house manufacturer control. And I think that's what will happen.
BMW made all their own electrics for their Superbike, which was really surprising. Christ, that doubles the intensity of the job.
It does, but what BMW are absolutely brilliant at doing then, though, is also sharing parts. And
they do actually bring some of the stuff to fruition to the street, by the way, too.
Yeah, but so for example, if you go and buy a Rolls Royce, I think it's a Rolls Royce, majority of the parts of a Rolls Royce, the electronic parts in a Rolls Royce, are from a BMW 7 Series.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think it's Rolls Royce, isn't it?
Yeah. BMW owns Rolls-Royce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, but even some of the parts of the wishbones, I believe,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So they share,
I've
and
heard
like
that before. Series 7. I've heard it a dozen times. It's Series 7.
like, okay, another one for people. The Lamborghini Urus.
No.
It's like a little SUV and whatever.
Oh, that's the dumbest ass thing.
Right, but it's actually
they have a Ferrari truck or something, a SUV or
yeah, but like how much is it? How much is a Lamborghini Urus?
I don't know.
I'm gonna price this now live, right, just so we can see.
Unbelievable.
But a Lamborghini Urus, it cost Lamborghini Urus price in Ireland is approximately 214,000 for one with 20,000 miles, right? Right, 214,000 euros. Right. Now let's look at an Audi.
The Ferrari SUV. Guess who wants it? They're jumping all over for it. The rappers. So there's not a brain trust between the whole bunch of them. You know what I mean? If you get 3 IQ points between the whole fucking batch of them, you know what I mean? You're really stretching it. So it looks horrible. It looks like a compact car. It looks like I swear to God, it looks like a Toyota Corolla or a Supra.
Oh, it's cute.
God,
but anyway,
the graves, huh?
But yeah, but the Lamborghini and the Audi share most electronic parts, and I think the chassis rails and all of it, or not the chassis rails, but the front end and the rear end is majority Audi. So like, there you are, and you're probably paying 200,000 for the Urus, and you're paying like 120 for the thing. And it's just the cabin and the outer shape are different. But
people
technically,
think, what a deal! Only $200,000, and you get a Lamborghini. I look at it as you pay $200,000 for a Supra.
Yeah, but look, if you're fucking smart a bit, you rent it. You claim the tax back. That's if you're very smart on it. Although, look, this race weekend, we're straight into Thailand again. This weekend, it's hard to look past Martin now. If I'm honest, it would be interesting to see how Mark goes in Thailand on the Ducati. But I would predict that it's going to be a closer weekend this weekend than the weekend in Australia. I think Pecco will be thereabouts. He has to at this stage. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's now become more dangerous than ever, is my viewpoint. Because now Pecco. Because now he has absolutely nothing to lose. He's second in the championship, 20 points behind. What happens when you corner a rat? Little attack. Do you know what I mean? And I think he's going to go away now the next few days. Yes, he is starting to blame others of, if it wasn't for this prick, I'd be 10 points closer or whatnot, right?
Yeah. He did that right before he did his 90-point run, too.
Do you know what I mean? So, like, realistically, right now he's cornered, he's trapped, and like, if you fight and die, at least you die honorably.
Yeah, die on your feet and then egg on your knees. Yeah.
So I think he's more dangerous. I think Martin may relax a small bit, and I think that could be a problem for him. Now that the gap is back to 20, so like for Martin, I just think he just needs to keep the pressure on, keep going as hard as he is. But look, like MotoGP and what we've learned this season is that, these guys are so close to the edge, anything can absolutely happen. So it's hard to look past Martin though next weekend, seeing as he won there last season. So he does get on with the circuit.
Yeah, his speed has been unreal. It really has been.
Yeah, it has. And look, it's just the consistency of that speed. When he's on, he's brilliant. He is like, if Maverick could get 75% of what he's doing, of Martin's doing, we'd be talking about Maverick in the championship this year. Do you know what I mean? So it is all about consistency for me. So let's wait and see though. I think Marquez has not.
I still think the major problem with Aprilia is they need a rider.
They do, but they've definitely gone the wrong way this season.
Yeah, somewhere along the line they went backwards.
Yeah,
like,
well, I don't think they even went backwards. I just think
they went
they stagnant more so than anything. Like you look at the race this week, right? Or in Phillip Island, and it was 51 seconds faster than last year. No, look,
a hell of a lot. Jesus Christ, really?
Yeah, but it's a brand new surface. Do you know what I mean? So you'd expect it. So it's smooth. It's this, that, and the other. But maybe 3 or 4 seconds is that in bike development. But like realistically, 51 seconds, tires, new circuit. Like you look at it, like it was fair play to them, because do you remember when World Superbikes went there, they had to do the mandatory pit stop. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, so to be fair to Michelin, they did figure the track out. So, so there was uninterrupted running there. Let's just call it. But yeah, look, I think next weekend in Thailand is going to be it's going to be a good one. I think it's during the night race again, Jake.
Who won last year?
Martin, Binder, and Pecco were all together. Pecco tried to go around the two boys in the last corner, actually, if you remember.
Yes, I remember that was an exciting race, if I'm not mistaken. That was a real barn burner.
Yeah, and like the sprint races are on for me. Oh, it's not too bad. 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Saturday morning.
Oh, it was nice. It was nice having a race on at like 10 o'clock. Like you Euro people over there, you get all the breaks. We're over here staying up all damn night. You know how you like got it.
Yeah. Oh well, this one now is a fucking terrible one for you. So the sprint race is on at 9 a.m.
You dog.
So that's 4 a.m. for you.
The worst thing is they don't have it right, so you gotta stay awake to see it. You know what I mean? Because it'll change.
Yeah, and then the main race is on at 8 a.m. my time, so that's what for you. So that's 3 a.m. Love it. And then Malaysia is the same. Then isn't it? Same sort of time scale.
Yeah. But the weird, like I said, the weird part is it'll have 3 a.m. right, and then it'll change. It'll be like, no, 4 a.m. No, but it's 3 a.m. Like on the screen. You're like, what the? Make up your mind. When are they starting this damn thing? Tonight you're staying up, because you don't know what time it is. You don't want to miss it.
Yeah. So I look at it's 3 to go, and then Jesus, we've Valencia, and then
you're picking. Who are you picking for Thailand?
I think Martin will win the sprint, and I'm going to go Pecco in the race because he has to win the race. So it's a desperation one for Pecco that he has to win. Well, realistically, he needs to win them all now, Pecco.
No, I'm going to go Pecco for the sprint and then Martin for the race, main race.
Mm-hmm. Mark might be dangerous too.
You think so?
Yeah,
I thought he hated that track.
Yeah, but that was on a Honda.
Well, yeah. If that's the case, you hate them all.
Yeah. So, anyway, on that bombshell, we'll wrap it up there for this week, and we'll catch everyone again.
By the way,
okay.
After doing the upgrades for the as I'm doing the upgrades for my Aprilia, right? I'm ordering it's gonna kill you, Mr. Oldtimer. I'm ordering a Royal Enfield Classic 350. Or not the Classic.
Is it a real Royal Enfield now, or is it a fucking
Bullet 350? Yeah, it's a real simple bike. It has one cylinder. It goes total of 72 miles an hour. It looks like
short speed, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's from 1940s, because it really is. It's the same tech as 1940s. If you took a 1940s bike and you put fuel injection on it, bingo, that's it. There's no plastic in the whole bike. And it costs a total now MSRP of $4,500.
Oh well. Just hope it doesn't break down like a normal.
Yeah, I know. The Marquez, they're dependable, and I'm going, yeah, but they're not durable.
Yeah, dependable and durable.
They're always sharp, but the thing's wearing out every time you hit the button. It's worn. You know what I mean? It's made of shit metal.
Well, no, like it's just like the old school Aprilias. Like, if it wants to go for a ride, it will let you know it wants to. If it fucking doesn't, it doesn't, right? And so it's dependable that you're dependent on its humor.
Okay. Yeah, the electrical system on those 1970s Italian bikes.
They're brilliant. Love it. Anyway, radio, on that bombshell, we will wrap it up and we will catch you all again next week.
Take it easy, folks.
Ciao for now.